What on guys, Commander here, and welcome to a Let's Play on Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, this is my long overdue review on the game. I know this should have been done ages ago, but it would muck up my schedule, and I suppose I could have swapped to the Halo Wars 2 video, but I just couldn't be bothered. I was enjoying the game too much to actually get on and do it. But anyway, here we are. Lovely. So, what this is going to consist of is a number of different parts. Now, this isn't going to be too long, I hope, but I'm not going to do too much explaining because it will go on for too long. So, there's a number of things I'm going to talk about. One, the general review, which is what I think about the game generally. The single player and arcade. So, the single player campaign and the arcade mode. And the multiplayer and the progression system. So, that's the 5 things I'm going to talk about. And just give my general review on them as I think they should be reviewed. So the general review, so the general overview review.
You offering me a job?
Now, generally, as a game, it's really good. I'm really impressed with it. I really am glad that I pre-ordered it. I'm really I'm really glad I pre-ordered it. I'm super I feel like I've done good. I haven't done bad by pre-ordering it. If I pre-ordered Battlefront 2015, which I didn't, I knew that I would have done good by doing that because of the tragic game that it was. So yeah, generally it's a really nice game. It looks amazing. The mechanics are amazing. Starfighter control really nicely, a lot better than they did in Battlefront 2015. I didn't know if I'd like that just because it didn't have the locking system, but it's a lot better than I thought it was. It really engineered it really well. The class system is an absolutely brilliant idea. I think they're really good, and they've done that really good. The customizations as far as weapons are concerned, really good. The star card system is really nice, much improved from Battlefront 2015. And it's just all around a really nice game in general. Now, we're going to start with the single player campaign. Now, I'm pretty much nearly finished the single player campaign in the way of recording it. So it's going to come out weekly. It's going to be about 15-20 minutes per episode just because I want to get it done. But I heard a lot of people say that it is very quick. It doesn't take you that long to finish it. Now, currently, I've been recording. If I put my recording time together, I've been recording for about 2 hours. So I've got about 2.5 hours worth of recording time already under my belt. Now, people say that it takes them about 3 hours, but I'd expect most of those have either done it on a live stream or have done it in bulk or haven't actually recorded it. I'm recording it in episodes and I'm doing my commentary over it as a live commentary. So it's going to take me a little bit longer, and also this is the first time I've actually done something like this. But I think it's going to take me about 4.5 hours to complete. But again, that is not very long, and I can understand that. I've only got 4 missions left, and I think unless something drastic happens, it's going to be really rushed. So the actual story mode has only, I think it must be 11 missions, and I think that's too short. Like Halo 5 Guardians, yes, the campaign was a load of bother, and that only had like 10 missions in it, but they were quite lengthy missions, and they had a lot in them. I mean, they could have been compressed down, but for what they were, it was really good. And yes, there weren't a lot of missions, but there was a lot to do in those missions. These missions in Battlefront 2 is basically the same thing. So it's, you've got an objective, you need to do the objective and escape off the planet. That's basically what each mission is. That's what I've seen anyway. And it's very repetitive, but it's good. The graphics are really good. The audio is really good. It's very intriguing. But I really like. I said this in one of the videos that I did when I was recording it. I really like the outside of Star Wars film stuff. So the canon lore. So what happened to Luke Skywalker after Return of the Jedi? What happened during the gap between 6 and 7? And it's about like 60 years. But they're trying to do 60 years in 12 episodes. And by the end, and I've only got 4 missions left. And by the end of it, we've got the first order, and we've got that in 12 episodes. And what I don't like, and I noticed this before while I was recording, the gap between two missions is about, the gap between two missions between the end of one cutscene and the beginning of the next is about 12 months. No, sorry, not 12 months, 6 months. Now, what happens in those 6 months? Nobody knows. And I think they could have added at least 2 more missions in there, if not 3, and just expand the single player campaign. Now, again, that's probably just me being picky and a pain in the butt, but that's just the way I think about it. Now, arcade. I was really, really hyped for arcade because of what it had in it. And what it's got in it is really good. It keeps you entertained for ages and ages and ages. The scenarios are really, really good. They're really entertaining. They start simple and they get more and more challenging. It's really nice. I really enjoy doing the scenarios. The custom battles are really, really customizable. You've only got 2 gamers, but I think they're adding some more in the future. I hope they're adding in Galactic Assault like they did with Walker Assault in Battlefront 2015. They add Galactic Assault into Battlefront 2 later on. I'd be really happy. I think that'd be a really, really good touch they could make. And it's really, really good. But the only downside to it is that not all the maps are there. The only maps that are there is Naboo, Naboo, Camino, Takodana, Starkiller Base. I actually think that's it. No, Yavin 4, and I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, and Tatooine. That's it. 2 from each era. Now, to me, whether it was because they didn't have enough time to add them all in for the launch date, I don't know. But I really hope that they add in the rest of the maps, because I'm currently stuck with something, because Traitor 2, which is coming out when it comes out because I haven't even finished writing the script yet, but Traitor 2 it will make my life easier recording the gameplay if I did it in arcade. I'm currently having to do it in multiplayer, and which is a massive pain in the butt because I'm only doing it on one specific map and I don't get that map very often. And it's a pain in the butt to do. So with arcade, if they added all the maps into arcade, I can just jump in and do it. And especially if they had Galactic Assault in arcade, that would be a massive help. Not just for me personally, but I also think that, I mean, just team battles on all of the planets. Let's say for instance, team battle on the Death Star. I mean, it's really fun. It's more not just for me because I can do things like the traitor in it, but it's more entertaining for me because I can just sit down and just go around killing enemies as Kylo Ren or Darth Maul. I mean, it is really fun, arcade, and the general arcade element is really fun. I really like what they've done with it, and the customization elements to it is really, really cool, and I really think they did a really good job for it. But it's just those little things just lets it down a little bit. And arcade's just going to get a bit boring if I'm constantly just doing the same planets over and over and over again. I mean, it's rather fresh because you've got lots of different units to use, but eventually it is going to get boring. Hopefully they add more things in during the seasons, I hope. Now, onto multiplayer. Multiplayer is what it is. I mean, multiplayer is very immersive. How you play is very, very good. Multiplayer has only got 5 game modes. Now, I know people were up in arms about it because it's only 4 game modes, but I'd rather have what we've got than have what we had in Battlefront 2015, where I'd rather have them work on things that I can do on my own rather than things that I can do online. Because with the single player stuff, where I am currently, I haven't got the best internet, and I struggle with my internet on a daily basis. I've had to hardwire my Xbox across my living room, and it's a pain in the backside because my internet is so slow. But the reason why I'd rather have them work more in the single player and arcade area is because I can use the single player area anytime I like. Where if my internet goes down, or let's say it's been a pain in the butt, I can just hop over to arcade and play a match of arcade. Which is why I sort of thought they should have expanded it a bit more, because it's more for people to do. I mean, yes, people want to play on multiplayer a lot more, but I sort of preferred them to do a bit more of arcade. But that's no excuse for the lack of game modes they played. Now they make it up by making the game modes really immersive and make it very variant. Between the different game modes and the different maps. So let's say Galactic Assault is not all just the same things. Let's say Walker Assault in Battlefront 2015, whatever map you went on, it was the same thing. You got every 5 minutes, let's say 10 minutes, when the Walker shields go down, you got to fire at it as much as you possibly can, and while killing your opponents. But with Battlefront 2, yes, you got Galactic Assault, but the different maps determine what you've got to do. So Camino, it's more attack and defend. On Hoth, it's more Walker Assault based. On Takodana, again, it's more attack and defend, but it's more of like a blast mode on a large scale, but not blast, if that makes sense. Blast, again, blast is just blast, it's team deathmatch. And I don't play Starfire Assault, but Strike, again, it varies between what you do with different maps, which I think is really, really cool, the way they've done it. And I'm really pleased that it is the way it is, and I hope they add more things into it in the future. But and yes, they could add more things into it for launch, but I'd rather them do what they did, because I'm happy with it. Most people are happy with it. There's one thing that everybody's not happy with, and I'm really getting slightly irritated by everything going on about it, and I don't want to into the but I'm just really happy with how the game's come so far and what we got at the launch. So, progression system. Now, progression system is... I agree with people when they say that the progression system is irritatingly slow. And I agree it is not the best in the world. You don't get very many credits for completing missions. You get about like 500 credits at most, I've gotten, for completing one Galactic Assault map, and it's not a lot. Even when you get like top everything and your MVP and what have you, and you only get a maximum of 500 credits. And when you do like 10 minutes worth of game modes, that is not a lot. Like with Battlefront 2015. Your points, so let's say how many points you get, that's divided by 10 to give you what the amount of credits you get. So let's say you earn 14,000 points, which has been done before, as I've seen it happen. You would get 1,400 credits for that, and that's even, because the more you do, the more points you get, the more credits you get, which I think is really cool. But it's more locked than it is in Battlefront 2, and I really, really don't like it. Like, the only main way to bank up your credits is by doing the milestones, and unless they bring in some more, I think that the progression system is just going to be a massive drag, and unlocking things is going to be a massive drag. I'm currently just I really need more and more credits, and I'm just dragging out all of my all of the arcade stuff, just because I know I can do that really easily. When I finish recording the campaign, I'm just going to go through and just do all the boxes and collectibles I can find, just so I can get those credits for all of that. And multiplayer I can just do as well as easy, but it's just so slow. And the progression system's just not what I expected at all. I mean, I heard a load of people moaning about it and how bad the progression system is, and after playing it for so long, I sort of understand what they mean by the progression system is ridiculously slow, and I totally agree. I'm not against anybody saying the progression system is slow, but I certainly hope, like EA and DICE have said on numerous occasions, that they're going to continue editing Battlefront 2 until it is as people want it. But I really hope that they change the progression system and make the progression system more like Battlefront 2. So not Battlefront 2015, because that was a really, really nice progression system. And that was sort of the reason, the progression system in Battlefront 2 was sort of what kept me playing the game longer than I really should have been. Because I knew that my gameplay and how I played resulted what I earned after the match. So I really hope, like, they've done things with the progression system already, like lower the amount of credits it takes to unlock the heroes and whatnot. And I think that's a step in the right direction, and a step for EA to know that what they're doing is not right. And I think that they're too up their own backsides of getting their own stats up to their playtime up as much as they possibly can, and they're not worried about the players who really want these characters. Like, let's say it used to be like 40 hours it took to earn Darth Vader. Now 40, let's say they wanted 50, there are 50 people that wanted Darth Vader. That's an awful lot of playtime on their part. I mean, it's not just 50, it's thousands and millions of people that want Darth Vader. Spend 40 hours doing it, and that makes their stats look good. Now, that I personally think is not the right way to go about it, and I think they did good by lowering it, but they still haven't fixed it properly. I still think that the loot boxes, if they're going to keep the progression system in the way of earning credits the same, I think they need to lower the cost of things a bit more, because it's taken way too long to earn things. Like, I'm having to do 2 hours of gameplay to earn one trooper loot box, which costs 4k credits, and I think that's a bit too much in my opinion.
At the fuel station, installing an override.
Now, the last thing I need to talk about, now this isn't, I'm not going to go into a rant on this because people have their opinions and so do I, but it's the loot boxes. Now, loot boxes, I agree, are the stupidest thing anybody can ever create. It's a gambling, pay-to-win piece of rubbish, and I really don't like it. But all I hear of people dissing the game is because of the microtransactions and the pay-to-win system with the loot boxes. Now, in my opinion, we went from a game where people were up in arms about a paid-for season pass and paid-for DLC, which splits the community up, because we've got one half playing with DLC and the other half playing with just the base game. And now people are up in arms because they're splitting the community, because they're giving half the community an edge because they can buy loot boxes with their own money. But where does EA go? What does EA do with that? Like, many games have microtransactions, such as like Clash of Clans, for example, or some mobile games, or a lot of games on Steam, like Team Fortress 2, and those sorts of games have microtransactions, so you can buy things to make yourself better. But I don't see why Battlefront 2 is getting so much stick because people are moaning about the loot boxes. Like, every single review I've gone to, the first thing that people moan about is the loot boxes. Like, I watched 5 reviews on Battlefront 2. IGN, Massive V, Gaming Sins, and a couple of others. All of them started by moaning about the loot boxes. Nothing else. Just went on for about 10 minutes ranting about the loot boxes. Yeah, so it's just, I don't like that it's like the loot boxes just giving Battlefront 2 a bad name. Like, I hope that EA don't implement it back in, but I would personally much rather loot boxes where I can choose if I use it or not. And every now and again, maybe I might buy a loot box if I've got a bit of spare cash. Maybe I won't. I probably won't. But I'd rather have the choice of paying for something than have a season pass where I'm limited to what I can play and I get bored because the base game is not enough because I have to pay extra for a season pass. I would much rather have a game where I pay 60 quid for the full game and I get the full game, and I don't have to pay an extra 30 quid, which would take the tally up to 90 quid for a game which I would never play for the full game. So I'd much rather have microtransactions than have a season pass, personally. But again, people are just going to moan whatever, and people have got to learn that, in my opinion, people have got to learn that they can't have everything their own way. Everybody's going to moan, and I know EA are not paying any attention to everybody moaning about the loot boxes. because they were told no paid DLC, and they delivered that. So they put something else in so you could get their money, so they could fund things like paid for DLC and get some money back afterwards. And they're still being told they're not doing it right. Again, let's bring it back to Halo 5 Guardians. Halo 5 Guardians is microtransaction. It has what the equivalent is of loot boxes with the rec system. You can buy for 32 quid. You can buy 64 plus gold rec packs. Now, if that doesn't give you an edge in battle, I don't know what does. But I didn't ever see anybody moaning about it when I watched reviews. Most reviews that I watched when Halo 5 Guardians first came out with the rec system and the microtransactions, I maybe even just saw one or two moan about the microtransactions, but it wasn't even a massive rant. But somehow, because Battlefront 2 is made by EA and has got a massive stick with it, and EA have got a massive stick with them, that they are apparently getting all this abuse with it. And I know Disney have said that they're not happy with how EA are dealing with Battlefront 2, but personally I don't mind. Like, again, if you don't like the microtransactions, don't use them. I personally don't like microtransactions. I do agree it's gambling. I do agree it's pay to win and it gives players the edge in the battlefield. But I think if you don't want to use them, or if you don't like them, don't use them at the end of the day. That's just my opinion. So anyway, that's where we have time for this Let's Go video here. That video went on for too long. I started ranting again. That's really annoying. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did enjoy, don't forget to smash the like button and hit that subscribe button for more awesome gaming content. And I shall see you all later. Bye!